friends, Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative with another card making idea for you today. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so I'm using Stampin' Up! Products. Today I'm back to using this Changing Leaves bundle, and so I'm using a little bit out of almost every part of the bundle. There's stamps, there are dies with this bundle, and today I am going to use several of these dies. Especially this big one that you can put into the hybrid embossing folder and do both cutting and embossing, but today I wanted to just do some cutting. So what I've done is I went looking for designer series paper, and I have cut out, this is from Unbounded Beauty, the leaves here out of this set. And I'm finding there's a lot of things you can do with this. I kind of went looking for autumn colors. It's a little more pink than I would have liked, but there's some oranges in there and it just gives you that flavor. I've also used the embossing folder. You can see here I've got a piece of peach pie cardstock that I've already run through the machine. And so I'm going to go ahead and open it up so that I can show you what this looks like. This now has, I got a glare here. Let's see if I can change the light. This now has beautiful texture to it. It has this raised surface, so you feel and see the leaf imprint. So what my plan was, I just got very vanilla for my cardstock, my base, and I'm going to put this on it and then start decorating. I have punched out a couple other shapes from this set, but I'm now going to put these leaves on here. And I could even make those look a little bit darker. I just had another idea now that I see it on the peach pie. I'm going to grab my, I think my Cajun Craze ink and see if I can add just a little color. Let me grab a sponge dauber. Okay, so let me lower the camera here to my work area and you'll see what I'm working on. I have, as I said, I've got my very vanilla, my peach pie. I have my leaf cut out. I've also die cut, and this is out of that same set. It's this little tiny triple leaf piece and one of these sprigs. And so I'm going to use these for decoration as well. We'll get to that in a minute. I did end up pulling a sentiment from another set because I wanted something that said best wishes. This set comes with this really cool die that punches out the circle, and it's great for some of these other sentiments that are in here, like thank you or here for you. And I just wanted something that said best wishes, something a little more cheery, not just a thinking of you. So I'm stamping this in my peach pie. Here's what this looks like. And now what I think I want to do is I'm going to tinge this just a little bit more color, a little more fall. And I'm going to take my sponge dauber and dab a little ink on it and just on the edges here, add a little bit of color. I mean, I like this, but I just feel like it needs a little bit more to make it pop on the background that's been embossed. So we have to be careful because this is just paper. It's not cardstock, so it's very delicate. So I'm sort of adding a third color here to the, what I assume is Pretty in Pink and the peach pie. But this is, I think, is going to help make it pop off that background. Just adding, like as you can see, it's just a little bit of color. Let's see if I can get the edge here. Yep, just like that. Dab, dab. That's all it takes. And I think that's good. I don't want a whole lot. Yep, I'm happy with that. Let me move this out of my way. So basically, I'm ready to start assembling. I've got my parts and pieces here. I could have added, you know, there's still a little ink on here. We'll just give this just a little touch. I almost put more orange on it, the peach pie. Just give this a little hint. Okay. So I'm now ready to start assembling, and I've got my liquid glue as well as my Stampin' Seal right here. I'm going to go ahead and use seal on the back of this with the texture because there's highs and lows. I just feel like this will hold it better. I think if you get glue in those low spots, it has a hard time. You know what? We'll put another dab right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this onto the front. And then I'm going to think about, I've got leaves going every which way, putting this on here. I want my best wishes. I haven't thought about the layout here, so I'm thinking now, yeah, just like that. I think that's what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to start with the first layer and then work my way up. So let me start with the big piece and move all these delicate little pieces out of the way. Now the other thing I can do, I love to do this on edges, is just put a little bit of color on the edges here. I'm rolling it in the ink. If you've never done this, oh, it's great on squares or a lot of different shapes, just to get rid of the white edge. And it puts just a little bit of color there. It kind of makes it pop. So I've just completed that. Now, on the big leaves here, so you can see this was part of the Unbounded Beauty. On the tips here and the bigger parts of the leaves, I'm going to go ahead and put my Stampin' Seal. And then down the stem, because I don't want this thing wiggling, or I don't want it to be able to be pulled up. So here, and I've been closing my liquid glue lately to make sure that it doesn't dry out. There we go. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there and a couple dots there too. Okay, plenty of adhesive. So now I'm going to make this go across the card front and tap it everywhere I know I had put the Stampin' Seal. Okay. I also think I'm going to use dimensionals behind this. So let me grab what's left of my dimensionals here. There's just enough for me to do this. I'm going to put a piece, and you can see I'm using the very last of that sheet. I've got more. So I will pull that out in just a few minutes when I'm done here. Pull off the backings. And I didn't reach for my Take Your Pick tool. I just used my thumbnail because there were only 3 of them. So now I'm going to put my best wishes down here in the corner. And then my liquid glue on this little leaflet. I think over here. And I may have to put a little mini dimensional behind these leaves just to keep them supported. Now see, if you don't care, it doesn't really matter. You can leave them. They could flatten out and it would be okay. I'll have to take a look at it when I'm done here. Now I'm trying to dab very gently to get a little bit of glue on a couple of these ends because they're so delicate. And I'm gonna put this over. And this one I definitely just want to lay flat. I'm not gonna try to pop that up. But because I have mini glue dots right here, mini dimensionals right here, I'm gonna just peel the back off. Of course, my fingers are sticky, and I'm going to stick this under that leaflet and just give that some support. And then I'm going to do it one more time with these mini dimensionals. And this is where, quite honestly, the Take Your Pick tool can be very helpful. Use the spatula end, use the pointed end, and stick it where you want it. See how it's not sticking to my finger, and I can just lay that down. Okay, that is done. I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer here, a little bit of Wink of Stella here, and then maybe just a little shimmer all over this so that the leaves pop. Now I have to decide. I wasn't sure I was going to want some kind of ribbon. Actually, I was thinking I didn't want ribbon on here, so I need to decide. I could use a piece of twine. I have a really tiny bow just laying here on my desk left over from something else. That's really too small. I don't like that. I may decide that later. The one other thing I wanted to do, though, is on the inside. I had a leftover strip of this Designer Series paper, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. I'm not stamping a sentiment on the inside because I want to wait. This, because it says best wishes, this could be anniversary, birthday, you know, any kind of celebration. So I want to leave this as generic as I can. but I do think I will put something on there. I'm just not sure what. So my card today, let me flip the camera back up. I have embossed, I used die cutting onto Designer Series paper to give that set of leaves a lot of color and a little bit of dimension by adding a couple more die cuts. And this is just a best wishes card with that strip on the inside for a little extra decoration. Just to give you another idea, I did this the other day. I found, this is wild wheat in the print from last year's In Colors, and so you can see what that looks like when it's punched out. So it's got a little bit of a pattern. And again, this is just very beige. And it's tone on tone until you see the leaves, but it does have the texture behind it. So a couple of card ideas using the Changing Leaves bundle. I hope you like the project today. If you like the projects and the products here, you can find them at Stampin' Up. You can find me, Caroline, at Carolina Creative or hashtag Carolina Creative. And I am also on the Stampin' Up network, Renee Keys. Thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next video.